It's going to be another big performance, I think, from Western Suburbs today, with that old Damocles sword hanging over them, as it has for the last few years. They've been pretty happy with their new sponsors this year, and they put on some big efforts here as Ian Schubert leads the team out. Now, Alan Fowler is one of the most consistent players in the hooking spot in competition this year, and when you look at that Western Suburbs side, you'll see John Elias, who's come from Canterbury, and Gary Webster in recent weeks have been tremendous for them. Their halves, Neil and Clark, going extremely well, and Rod Petherbridge is having his best season in Sydney. That's Alan Fowler, and his background in the country and then at Canterbury. He's had some representative honours in the country and is playing some excellent football again this year with West. The St George side, big question marks about their form every week. How will they go? Will they play to their ability? And when you look at that pack, you've got to ask yourself the question, what's happened to Pat Jarvis? He's in reserve grade and has been for a while, Steve-O, and Craig Young, who has been a brilliant player for them, isn't really firing this year. This man has fired every week. He puts in a committed 80-minute performance. His tackling and work around the rucks is terrific, like all great hookers.
Certainly has done very well, and he'll be a sad loss to the club, Guider. Of course, he retires at the end of this season. And what better way than for the Saints? Maybe they can scrape in the 5. They've got to win today.
Giles O'Donnell whistles for the kickoff, and it's West to receive it. Schubert giving it back to Petherbridge. Rod Petherbridge. Scored a lot of tries this year, and most of them on this ground. Watch the way he comes into the line today. Now, the early battle here with Webster and Fafita engaged there, and Guider coming in to help out. That's Neil's pass. Wide of the ruck, it's Lee Crooks, and he's grabbed by Lenane. The Western Suburbs moving it back for Naden to clear. Wide of Burgess, out towards Morris. That's Glenn Burgess. St George have a slight breeze advantage in this first half. And Steve Morris back in first grade. Had an injury problem, played in reserves, and with O'Connor out because of the test on Tuesday, he's got a regular spot back today. And here's the clearance from Steve Funnell, one of the impressive young St George forwards this season. Petherbridge.
I'm surprised at the St George tactics there, really kicking to Petherbridge. He's proved over the last couple of weeks that he's the danger man. I'd be kicking to the other side, well away from the fullback.
That's Lee Crooks trying to slip it. Bilberger with Petherbridge. He dropped it, and there'll be a scrum. Western Suburbs, great performance in under-23s, and the same in reserve grade. West's defeating St George in both grades there, and a bit of a surprise in reserves with St George a chance for the 5, West not. Now it's out to Chris Johns off Lenane. And just have a look at the St George formation today. They tend to get very bunched as Guider takes it ahead. St George working for field position. Craig Young just motoring it up, and there's the mistake from Selby. Well, I think one of the key players to look at again for St George today is Craig Young. He's had a very disappointing season to me. He just seems to be playing out his contract really with them. He doesn't hit the line hard and often as he used to, and he doesn't set up the play as well as he used to.
Spot on there, Jim. I think one of the big problems with St George this season is that they tend to utilise him far too much. They look towards him to do everything. And really, it's in the halfback situation, Lenane and Haddock, they've got to start working together.
Some rugged defence from St George, and the result of it's a penalty. It's against Fafita. He's going to be called up for that hard work on Bilberger. Keep away from his eyes. What happened in here? See if you can pick it up. In he goes. Whack. Just a bit of a massage. Neil, Webster. From Brett Clark to Crooks into a bit of a slot. It opens up there. He couldn't handle it. Cogger dropped it. It was an awkward pass, but good play by the Western Suburbs side. Look at Crooks.
Good play here by the skipper. Beautiful ball out here. You'll see how Walford gets involved. Just enough to put him off.
Lenane. Brian Johnston back in the centres this week after playing on the wing. Papita. Guida. And there it is. You see, just look at that.
That was complete lack of concentration.
Yeah.
Lack of concentration. The man never had the eye on the ball, and the dummy half, well, he should have known not to pass it.
St George, they've looked good at training, but they just don't put it together on the paddock. So West's with Clark away to Schubert. But West can keep dragging them in. The gaps will appear. Neil again. Craig Neal plays it outside the St George quarter. Bilbridge is in there. Last tackle for the Magpies. There's no scorers yet. Neal for the bomb. Here comes Burgess. A touch by St George. Count starts again with Webster onto the ball. More opportunities. Falla to Clark. There goes Crooks out wide. Look at this. Schubert's going to score here. He's over. Wasn't that simple. Basic football, good support, and Lee Crooks, who for the fourth time hanging around 2 or 3 off the ruck, has done the damage, and West get the points.
Good play by Crooks here. Typical English-style football. Hits the line, gets the ball round the man. Beautiful there. And Burgess, well, never really much chance there, but good support play. Now this came about by a poor attempt by Burgess to take the bomb. Ball out wide. And this is the second time that we've seen Crooks go running, skirting out wide of the ruck and getting the ball away.
Schubert to convert his try. And that's 6-0. 6-0 to West. A great start. Schubert, his 3rd try of the season before that goal. It's Elias giving it to Falla. And West's look a lot more enthusiastic than St George. Neal, Schubert, Shepherd. Petherbridge ducked in front of him. And Giles O'Donnell was onto it. That's Falla.
No doubt about the obstruction.
Walford from in front. And he's kicked it. So St George on the board. 4 points between the teams. 14 minutes into the first half. Wolf and St George are back in possession. Johnson to play it. Lenane, Haddock. Looking for someone, almost a Shepherd. He's going to let it go. Funnels down. Bowled over by Craig Neal. Guida, look at St George. They don't know what they're doing. Selby. They're standing on top of each other. Guida. Straight ahead. 15 metres out. Young finds Papita. That's Funnel inside. How did he get that one away? Burgess is 10 metres out. It's the last tackle coming up. Young. Funnel, but intercepted by Clark. Away goes Brett Clark. Here comes Johns. Well done by Clark. They must have been playing a bit of margin of offside on the blindside West, but they've got away with it. They've got the ball. They're back to halfway. Here goes Crooks.
Well, it isn't as though it's hard to pick, Jim, because that's all St George have played. They've just worked for this blindside all the time. That was good thinking by the 5'8".
Schubert to play it. Naden, Neil, Bilberger. Neil again. Webster. He's a good runner. Here's Crooks. Here's a show. Inside the pass goes to Elias under the post. Thanks a lot, fellas. It's 10-2. Well played by Western Suburbs. St George falling back there. Further disappointment in attack. And West found the gap. Good support play. Watch it.
Certainly was. Good play by Bilberger there. Lovely ball here to Crooks. Once again, skirting out wide. Kept his head and in for another try. Well, Elias, since coming from Canterbury, certainly done well for the Magpies. This really is the way out to go on. Look how he pushes him away. Beautiful ball. Good support play. Keeps his head backing up all the way. You won't get an easier try than that. That really is good football.
Schubert, who's kicked about 70% this year, doesn't miss with that easy one. And Western Suburbs repeating last week's performance against Manly. They led 18-2 at the break there, and now it's 12-2 after 20 minutes. That's Johnson with Burgess. Burgess makes a bit of a bust. Back to the quarter line. Morris. Funnel. Guyder's in there with Young and West inside the 5. An easy chance for 2 points for St George, who are really struggling to get their momentum going in attack. The fellas coming off. Walford. 2 more points. St George on the board again, trailed by 8 points. 12 minutes to go in the first half. Elias. Clark, Neil, Crooks. Couldn't make the pass. Johnson had moved up on Cogger. Neil. Down to Burgess. With Walford. Wouldn't give him the ball. Fafita. Young. Walsh. That's Funnel. Johnson. He's got Walford there this time. He has to look inside for Funnel. Support. Squeeze loose. Johnson for the corner. He's in. St George have scrambled to try. May have been a little fortunate, but they were going forward. They were backing up. And the loose pass well picked up in the end. Brian Johnston backing up. St George's first try of the game.
And it was a good try. They've been working that blind far too often in my book. This is one occasion where they did a good play here, looking for support. Knows he can't get any further, Johnston. Ball back inside there, and good step, and a beautiful pass just going to ground. And good play.
Here's Walford. It's swinging through the post. Look at it. Great kick. So St George back in business all of a sudden. We're going to have a terrific second half here. 3 minutes to go before the break. Just 2 points between them. It's Naden. The feet are trying to charge it. It's touched by St George first, back to Walford. As you can see, the West players sensing it. They're onside and they were after the ball. Haddock. Morris. Young. Johnson couldn't handle it. Maybe the pass wasn't meant for him, but again the St George attack breaking down.
Well,
I'm not
surprised either, Jim, because I mean that really was a bad play of the ball. Two players didn't bother about the man playing the ball. They were more intent trying to set up for the move.
Well, Steve-O, coming up to half-time, how do you see it? Can St George win from here?
Well, they certainly can. I think the Western Suburbs can feel a little bit disappointed. They've taken their chances. They scored two very good tries. And with all that possession that St George have had, they'd really had to get back into the game. If West can get the same possession in the second half, then they could win that. They certainly could take out the game this afternoon. But St George, well, I can think themselves very lucky to be only 2 points down at the break. Very impressed with the way Western Suburbs came out. They followed on from that win against Manly last week, but very impressed by the way that they've been using Lee Crooks, a prop out wide. It's worked well. Scored 2 tries from it. He's been the man that's been responsible for both those tries.
Up the mighty Magpies. In the second half, Western Suburbs leading by 2 points. Let's see if they can keep that early momentum going, particularly with the ball. They look tremendous. Schubert kicks off, and St George playing for a lot again today. Burgess back towards the quarter. So sit back for the next 40 minutes, enjoy the action. Should be a terrific finish. Fafita back over the quarter. Guida. That's Walsh. Funnels ball down to Petherbridge.
He loves to take those, did Rod Petherbridge. Really funnel there, kicking it right down his throat.
Bilbiger. That's Drummond in the line, up over halfway. He looks around. Petherbridge is there. He holds onto it. Another good move by West, bringing Drummond in. It's still hot. Bilbiger. That's Elias. Neal. Clark. Crooks. Cogger. Over the top. Schubert. Naden now. Drummond. Back to Naden. Keep it going. Clark. Clark gets it back. Came off a St George player, but they've fallen on it now. So West's spirited play comes to a stop there.
That's great play by the Magpies. Kept the ball alive. That's going to cause a lot of problems to the St George defence. They're always there, backing up in support.
Haddock with Craig Young. Guida. Linane running onto it beautifully. Good work. That's Selby over halfway. Haddock. Last tackle. Funnel for touch, out on the full. Wasn't going to be a handover that time.
That's better play by St George, getting themselves organised and actually running onto the ball. Bad kick by Funnel. Must respect this possession.
St George ball, Haddock. St George trailed by only 2 points. Linane. Johnson. Strong work coming in from his opposite, Naden. Fafita. St George looking more purposeful in attack than his half. Young on the blind. Inside. Walford. Haddock. Linane. That's Walsh. Haddock's busy and he's in. St George score under the posts. Well, their reward that time for holding on to the ball, running onto it, and the little man scores the try off the big man.
Good play by Walsh here. That's a concerted effort by the St George side, but they're getting the ball out wide, and this is how to run onto the ball. Sees a half opening, and a neat little step here. And poor Bilbinger had no chance of stopping the little midget. That's the way to run onto it. Walsh gets the ball away on the inside, and a neat little step. Former Cronulla halfback.
And this should be 2 more points. He can throw it over from here. He does. And they lead by 4. 16-12. St George 16, West's 12. And we'll see what West can do. Schubert. Crooks. Last tackle for Wests. That's Neil. Wolford. Brian Johnson. Guida. Guida's through. Look at this. The Morris. Oh! Alan Keelan picked up the jockey-sized winger and let him know he was his opposite with this tackle. Watch it.
Oh, Wooshka, and in it goes. It's a great tackle, but a good run by the hooker Guida.
St George get the penalty. Well, West can't do much right in those scrums. St George have won the scrum 7-4. And the penalties favour St George 5-3.
A little half of it. Was a good throw, wasn't it?
One of the best Saturday crowds they've had at Lidcombe. All this talk of West's being on the threat of oblivion again, which brought them out. Plus, of course, West's great win last week and the traditional battle against the Saints. Webster. He's given a bit of thrust to the West pack in the last few weeks, Gary Webster. Crooks out wide again. They've got him ball and all. There's no way he could get the pass away that time. And with a bit of anger, he's going to be cautioned. Look out. He's lost his cool, Lee Crooks. He had a go at Selby twice in the tackle. I think he belted him with a ball the first time.
It's obviously Selby's either said something to him or done something untowards in there. But don't lose your temper. Didn't lose the ball.
Wolford. 2 more points. That gives them a gap of 6 now. Still heaps of time to go. Young. You saw Williams lining up on the sideline a moment ago, ready to come on. As Walsh goes forward, apparently Brett Clark could be coming off. Maybe he took a knock somewhere along the line. He did in the first half. Look at Selby. What a big run by Jeff Selby. Over halfway, but the pass was a poor one. It went forward. Great break. Led to nothing.
Certainly was. He's very fast, as Selby. And that will have pleased the Salford chairman, Les Betterson, who's in the crowd here today watching. Signed to play in England next year, Selby.
That's Clark, replaced. Webster. Cogger, back to O'Neill. Crooks. Loose one. Elias has got it. And Elias comes back. Well, what a good run. He can really beat a man, this fella. Big and strong and a little elusive. Schubert. West finding a little bit of room out there. Fivey a dummy half. The switch to Bilbinger. 20 metres out from the St George posts. West trailed by 6 points. Fivey. Neil. That's Webster. Webster, he's made a bit of a split. Here comes Featherbridge. Just short of the line. A great tackle out there by Glenn Burgess. Otherwise, Petherbridge was over. Naden squeezed it out there to Schubert. It's the last tackle for Wests. A great try-saving tackle over there, though, by Burgess. Neil throws it forward, miles forward to Geelan.
That's a very poor finish to enterprising attack by Neil there. Miles forward.
West have got it. In the backs, Petherbridge again. Bilberger. And a penalty. It's Bilberger who's going to be called out. And Linane. Now what's happening in this? Watch this. See if we can see what occurred. Linane came in. Dragged him onto the ground. Now what's he doing? There's some sort of roughing up in the tackle. West have got the penalty. Because West Secretary Rick Wade's going to Queensland demoted to negotiate for some players. Bob Lindner, maybe, and 2 others. Schubert. It's straight enough, is it? 2 more points for Wests. So it's just 4 points the difference. 20 minutes to go. Linane. Over halfway. A good dash by Steve Linane. Morris for the corner. He kept it alive, but he found the West player. Good play by St George. He very nearly found support inside from Brian Johnston. Great break by Linane.
Certainly was, but a silly pass by Morris. He just made all that ground there and just squandered possession.
Neil. Crooks, oh, he's come up with another error. Surely he should replace him. He looks really weary. And he was struggling to get his hands around the ball that time.
I'm not surprised either, Jim. I mean, they've used him as a prop forward. They've used him as a runner outside.
Well, he's had 9 handling errors in the game. Crooks. He can still make a try. That's a loose one. Drummond's got the ball, has he? No, Walford came up with it again. Noak. With 10 minutes to go, St George could wrap it up if they score. Young. That's for Peter. Linane with Young inside. That's Selby. The tackle came from Schubert. Guida. Walsh out to Burgess. Morris inside to Johnson for the corner. Last tackle coming up right in the corner of the ground there. Haddock went for the corner. And it's a handover to Wests.
A little bit disorganised there, St George. They really should have used that kick on the last tackle.
Enthusiastic West supporters, I'd reckon. They're just loving the afternoon out, those ones. Crooks. Neil. Schubert. Here's Petherbridge. Loves this. Into the line beautifully. It's Cogger. That's Geelan. West's bouncing back. Not out of business yet. They've still got it hot. Geelan again off Webster. It's the last tackle coming up for West. St George recovering slowly. Naden. Williams. Williams sights a gap. It closed up fast. And it's a handover. He probably should have kept it alive with a pass.
That deserved a try. The first time, really, that Petherbridge has run under the ball, linking in with his three-quarters, and his strength got him through.
Wolford injured. You saw Graham Wynn warming up to come on. Wolford's been winded.
St George leading by those 4 points. I think we'll find a few more of the St George players going down winded. Jimmy?
The feet have been replaced by Graham Wynn. And in there it happened. Guida, Haddock, Noak, Linane. That's Johns over halfway. Trying to stretch ahead. Grabbed by Williams. Linane. Young. The dummy. And then Johnson with Wolford.
That was a beautiful neat pass by Johnson, the centre. He's had a top game today.
Linane, a grubber ahead. Naden comes away with it. Looking for some room out there. Elias. Well, it'll really be a miracle now if West can win it. Contriving something from that end of the ground. Elias, near touch. Petherbridge to play it. Neil, Crooks. Last tackle for Wests. Maybe a minute to go. Neil. Down towards Burgess and Wolford. Burgess away from Naden. That's Guida. Selby. Selby roaming wide to Morris. Graham Wynn. A good one for Wolford. Ankle tap by Williams. Young's ball for Graham Wynn. Get ready for it. There's the siren. It's full time. Here come the kids. As soon as the siren went, full time. And St George, an important victory, keeps them in the race for the semi-finals after West led 12-2 midway through the first half.